Chapter 15, Looking for Scarface. Thursday, January 10th, 1935. The next day, it's hot out. It's like this at home in Santa Monica sometimes. In the middle of winter, all of a sudden we get a summer day. On the way home from school, Annie told me we're meeting at the parade grounds. Then we're going to head down to some secret spot where they can watch the convicts walk up to the cell house at 4 o'clock. Annie says they do this all the time. It isn't against the rules, and sometimes they even see Capone. When I get to our apartment, my mom's music bag and her hat are waiting at the door. I forgot to ask, what did Scout say yesterday? She said. He said he'd try. See, she smiles at me. Was that so bad? Natalie paces back and forth in front of the window, digging at her collarbone with her chin. My mom stops and looks at me. She seems to be thinking of saying something about this, but changes her mind. Remember, just treat her like you would a normal sister. This isn't babysitting. Whatever you say, Mom, I say, watching Nat fuss with her clothes like something's too tight. What's the matter? I ask Natalie. She's fine, my mother answers for her. We've been all over. We've had a lovely day. My mom glances quickly at me and then away. She looks upset. It's just hot, that's all, my mom rubs her neck. She wants her buttons. Well, yes, my mom admits, but I'm sure once you take her out, she'll forget all about it. Mrs. Kelly says it's just a matter of redirecting her attention. My mom's voice isn't quite so sure as her words are. She and Natalie have clearly had a hard time today. Don't you think it's kind of mean, taking her buttons away? My mom stares at the curtains. We have to try this. You'll take good care of her, she asks, her gloved hand on the door. Sure. I'll be back on the 6:30, my mom says. In my room, I dig through my drawer for my swim trunks. Come on, Nat, I say. Nat jumps up, motors to her room, and shuts the door. I knock, a hard rap. Natalie, let's go. She doesn't open the door. I knock again, then push it open a crack. She's standing in her bathing suit. Oh, no, I say, you can't wear that. The warden was very clear about this. No girls are allowed to wear suits on the account of the convicts. But how in the world do I explain this to Natalie? It's hot and she wants to wear her bathing suit. That's what we did at home. Natalie, you can't wear that. Hot, she says. Yeah, I know, but you can't wear your bathing suit. Put on something cool, but not that. Hot, she shouts. Okay, you're hot. I'm hot too. Moose, cool, moose, bathing suit. You're a girl, Natalie, and you've got, girl parts. You have to keep covered up. It's not like home. How do I explain this to her? Moose, cool, she repeats. There was no arguing with her. Back in my room, I put on my corduroys again, which is like deciding to bake each of my legs. I find Nat's dress and hand it to her. She hands it back. Moose, hot, Natalie, cool. She's almost smiling, her face full of victory. She's not about to change. She's not that crazy. I would laugh if it wasn't so frustrating. I don't want to miss the cons, because I'm curious, first off, but also because now I have to prove I'm not a goody-goody. Nat fusses with the straps of her suit. That doesn't look comfortable, Nat. Why don't you put on your blue dress? You always like your blue dress. I rub her dress against my cheek. See? Soft. I'm just thinking I'm wasting my breath when Natalie starts to take off her suit. I walk into the room and close my door. All done, Nat? I ask when I hear her come out. When I turn around, she's standing in the living room, totally naked. I can feel my whole face get red. Even the tips of my ears burn. I don't want to see my sister naked. No, you can't do that. I run to the front window and yank the drapes closed. Now she's in the kitchen, lying on the cool floor. At least this is better. It isn't so bad from the back. I think about the time we took Natalie to my cousin Cricket's wedding. It was boiling that day too, and right in the middle of the ceremony, Natalie took all her clothes off. But she wasn't so old. It wasn't like now. The clock on the mantle is ticking, 3:15. We're supposed to meet at 3:30. It takes 10 minutes to get to the west stairs on the parade grounds. I have 5 minutes to get out the door, and a crazy naked sister on the floor. How does my mom get her dressed anyway? You could take your buttons outside, but only if you wear your blue dress. I get the button box from where my mom has hidden it inside the radio cabinet. What else am I supposed to do? I shake the buttons down by her ear and try to pull the dress over her head. She doesn't take it off. You have to wear your underwear too. I won't look. She doesn't move a muscle. Her bare skin looks so white against the floor. Come on, Nat, I plead. Swim, she says. You want to go swimming? Natalie, swimming. Okay, here's what we'll do. If you wear your blue dress and your underwear, I'll take you swimming. I have no idea where I'm going to take her swimming, but I'll worry about that later. Swim. Blue dress, underwear, swim later. I talk in her language. Moose double. Double what? Double swear. I laugh. Yes, okay. I double swear. Miraculously, she puts on her dress, her underwear, her socks, and her shoes, and we're out the door. 3:25. If we walk fast, we'll make it. But every time I turn around, Nat stops to rub her toe on the pavement. Then we have to count the birds. I try to get her to count and walk, but apparently this is impossible in Natalie world. I don't know what time it is when we walk across the parade grounds to the west stairwell. No one is there, but we can't be that late. I run down the stairs, leaving more and more distance between Nat and me. Then I hear them. I'm about to shout, wait up, when Piper says, come on, Annie. I've lived around prisons my whole life, but I've never been inside the cell house. All we ever do is watch the cons walk up. Big deal. Don't you ever wonder what it looks like in there? We got the biggest gangster in the world here. Don't you want to shake hands with Al Capone? The laundry plan isn't even finished, and Piper's already hatching another? I can't believe her. I strain my eyes, but I can't hear what Annie says back. Annie's voice is soft and sweet. Piper's is loud and scrouchy. Al Capone, Piper says, and then I hear a stumbling sound behind me. It's Natalie. She's on her feet, but a bush is whapping back and forth like she just tripped over it. You okay? I ask. What's that? Annie says. And then suddenly Annie and Piper appear. Piper makes a gravely sound with her throat. What's she doing here? Piper asked. I try to change the subject. Where are Teresa and Jimmy? Didn't you hear? Mrs. Madiman had a baby boy, named him Rocky, Annie says. She wipes the sweat off her forehead. They have a bunch of relatives over to see the new baby, and Teresa and Jimmy have to entertain their cousins. Piper looks from me to Natalie and back again. Can't your mom watch her? She asks. She teaches piano lessons. How often? Every day, I mutter, glancing back at Natalie, who is using her dress to fan herself. We all get a good look at her ruffled underwear. Thank goodness she put it on. She better not do that when the cons are around, Annie said. They can't actually see us, right? I ask. Right, Piper says. Come on, they'll be up soon. The path is narrower here, so we go single file. Piper, then me, then Annie, then Nat. I've never walked over here and suddenly it seems like a bad idea. I'm wondering if maybe I should turn around when I see a huge chain-link fence that blocks our path. The fence is maybe 12 or 14 feet high with 3 strands of barbed wire across the top. It goes up the hill, where it connects to the rec yard wall, and down the hill as far as I can see. Maybe even to the water, though I can't tell from here. In the distance on the other side of the fence, I see the steps that lead to the recreation yard. High up in the corner of the rec yard is a guard tower no bigger than a one-man ticket booth. I imagine there's a guard with a Browning automatic training his sights on the convicts, watching to make sure they don't pull any funny business. That where they go up, I ask? Piper doesn't answer. She's fiddling with the lock, a key in her hand. A big drop of sweat drips down my face. More drops follow and my legs go stiff. You have the key? My voice croaks. Piper takes one look at me and snorts. Of course. You can't see him very well unless you go close. We do this all the time, Annie says. Her voice is kind. But can't the convicts see you? Nope. Not where we stand, Piper says. But we got to get in prison before they come up the stairs. That's the important thing. You go ahead. I'll stay here. I try to make my voice strong and clear. I can't take Natalie, up there. Natalie, like she has anything to do with it. Chicken, bark, bark, bark. Piper clucks, flapping her arms. Come on, Annie, she spits in the bushes. We're late. I watch them until they disappear behind a bush. Would you get a load of that guy? I hear Piper say. Ah, Piper, give it a rest, Annie says. Natalie and I settle on our side of the fence. I climb the hill to a spot that seems safe. Nat is still standing up. Nat, get down, I tell her. Nat's eyes pass over me, the way an electric fan moves on its course. But to my surprise, she gets down. We settle in, huddled together on our bellies in the small space, which gives us good cover and faraway view of the steps going up. I definitely don't want to be any closer. For once, I'm actually glad Natalie's with me. Piper would have been 10 times pushier if Nat hadn't been here, and Annie was clearly on my side. We don't hear anything but the birds chirping, the lap of the water against the shore, and the revving of a boat I don't see. Sound is strange near the water. Sometimes far away things sound close. And then I hear a dull, steady pounding footstep. Footsteps! Dozens of them! Then the first head pops into view, a dark gray officer's hat, and another. Then white hats, denim shirts and pants, white hats, denim shirts and pants. I strain to make out faces, but we're much too far away. One of those guys has a big scar down the side of his face. That's Al Capone, I whisper to Natalie. I wonder if Piper and Annie are close enough to spot Capone. I wonder if they can see the 85 printed on his back. The first prison guard stops at the top of the stairs. He steps aside and lets the prisoners pass one by one through the recreation yard door until only the guard is left. He takes one look down the steps and across the industry buildings. Why is he doing that? Doesn't he already know they're all inside? Nat is on her belly behind me, running her hand over the dirt, organizing it in little piles. She doesn't notice the men. She doesn't notice anything. She could be anywhere. Anywhere there's dirt. So why do you think Natalie didn't notice the men? Do you think she understands that they're prisoners and that they're not safe? You shouldn't be near them? I wonder what Natalie's thinking right now.